Our next panel is about providing access, improving lives with clean energy and microcredits. To talk about that, we have here the CEO of EDP Brazil, Ana Maria Fernandes, and the Nobel Prize awardee, Muhammad Yunus, the creator of a business model based on microcredit and bringing opportunities. To moderate, we have Luciano Huck. Please welcome them.
Hi, good afternoon for everybody. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mr. Yunus. First of all, I have to say I'm a big fan of your life work and all you've been doing. So it's a big honor to me to be here. And Anna, I've been studying what you've been doing at EDP, and it's important to have you here. So first of all, I want to ask you, both of you, that we've been discussing this on the backstage. Mr. Yunus, how do you define, both of you, and also social business?
Well, the conventional business, everybody knows, where you go into business, make money, the more money you make, the more successful you are. So the whole world is kind of in the regime of profit maximizing business. And on the other side, there's a charity world, which you give away money to help people and so on. But there are many problems in the world which either has to be solved by charity or has to be solved by government. And the idea that came to us while working for the poor people, giving loans to start income generating activity, we saw many other problems: health problems, employment problems, problems of uncertainty about their future, and children, education, and so on. So we started creating companies to address each one of these problems separately. And these companies are created to solve the problem. And I had no intention of personally making money out of it. So we created more than 50 such companies and keep creating more. And then I realized that this type of business is missing in the whole framework of the business world, economic world. And I started giving it a name, saying that these are a separate category of business, and I called it social business. It's a non-dividend company dedicated to solve problems. So each time it's a you see a problem, and you come with a business idea to solve the problem. To give an example, we started a company called Gramin Shakti, Gramin Energy, to bring solar energy in the villages of Bangladesh, because Bangladesh doesn't have much of electricity in the villages. So we started selling this solar home system. Initially, it's so difficult to convince people to pay for a solar system. But we gradually explained, and people started buying. 5 solar system per month, or 10 solar system per month. Today, 16 years later, we sell more than 1,000 solar home system per day. And we are just about to touch the 1 million solar home system mark in Bangladesh. So this is an example of the social business. This company was created not for making money for me or anybody, but make sure that solar energy is introduced and people can pay, and the company runs by itself. So once you are self-sustaining, then it becomes a tremendous strength. Compared to charity, I could have given solar energy as a free thing, but I would have given 10, 15, 20, then it stopped. But since it's a business, it keeps on running. So in the social business, money goes, it comes back and does it again. So you create a business which is a self-propelling engine, never stops. And that's the kind of business that we call social business.
Anna?
No, I completely agree that charity is not the answer to the problem. It's much better much more effective to give the tool to the fishermen than to offer them the fish. I think the world has incorporated this idea, and in several issues, or several areas, this has been done. In our company, we decided our business is to make money, by the way, but we can make money and at the same time respect the environment, and have the respect of your clients through that way of doing things, and respect the environment and respect the people that work for you. That's the way that we get to do projects that, whilst they earn money, they also are beneficial for the community. And more, it's important to do that. I think this is why, since 2006 until 2011, we became the third player in terms of renewables in the world, because we were always very strict in building and choosing our projects. So this is a way of also benefiting the communities.
And Mr. Yunus, and in the same way of thinking that you're doing, you're talking about social business with no profit, okay? So, but I think one of the subjects that we've been discussing in the third sector of the economy in the last years is about they are calling the 2.5 sector, where you have a business that you have a strong social impact, but the profit is not the seen. And I think this, in a country like Brazil, that you have small communities all over, that you need people to make money and you need social things to happen. I want to know I know this is not what you're doing, but I want to know your opinion about that.
Yeah, I'm not against profit making if somebody is doing that, and let them do it, continue to do that. All I'm saying, there is another space where you can do business 100% focused on the result of the problem solving thing. So if you take the spectrum of business world, on one hand 100% profit maximization, then you have 99% profit maximization, 1% social, and 50% social and 50% profit maximization, 99% social, 1% profit maximization. Then comes another point, 0% social, 0% profit and 100% social. That's where we are. So we are focusing on that. We are saying that all other companies who make maximized profit or mixed with social can run a 100% social company on the side along with it. So there's no conflict. Like she was saying that her company is a profit-making company. That's fine. But a company like that also can create a social business to address the problems that profit-making company cannot easily address because of the restriction of profit-making and expectation of the shareholders and so on. So we can create a separate one with the consent of the shareholders. Here we will not make any dividend. We'll concentrate on solving the problem. In social business, company makes profit, but the owners don't want to take any profit. So the profit stays reinvested in the company. So you can create social business on any subject, on employment generation, on old age, on education, technology, housing, you name it. So you can create, and it is the creativity of human being and the technology at our command which focuses in that direction, and solution comes. And once solution comes for a small little social business, you can replicate it to make it a global. That's the power of social business.
And about social business also, Anna, how do you think can social media and technology can help to trigger a boom of social business in the world?
Let's take this event and the others of this kind and examples Mr. Yunus has just referred to. Today, it's much more available to the entire world and to more and more people, and that's why energy is so important, because access to energy means access to more information, and so access to opportunities, and that's very important. And this is the way people tend to know what is going on in the world, and they tend to want that for themselves as well. And so they press the society, they press the governments to understand this and do something about it. For instance, the companies, I see this for some time. More and more companies have departments dedicated to sustainability and give out to society. Nobody accepts anymore that you make a lot of money as a company and you give back nothing to society. You have to do it. And at the same time that you develop your activity, you also have to take care of what's in touch with you, what they normally call stakeholders. So, people around the world are more and more informed about this. And that's where social media comes in. And as they are more informed, they also want that to happen with them. So in time, it's not tomorrow, but in time, I trust that this is going to change a lot the world. Nobody knows what's going to be the model, but I hope it's going to work for the best.
Mr. Yunus?
Yeah, in 1997, Bangladesh, which is a population of 160 million people, didn't have much of a telephone. We had about 500,000 telephones for the whole country. And that's the year we created a company called Grameen Phone and wanted to bring mobile phone in the hands of the poor women in the villages. The poor women. Everybody thought it's a crazy idea. Why poor people need a phone? Who is she going to call? I said, no, she's not going to call anybody. She'll make a business out of it. And it became a very successful telephone company. Today, in 2012, we have 80 million telephone subscribers in the country. So change between 1997 to today, 2012. We
80 million.
80 million, 80 million. We have only 30 million families in the country with 160 million people. So if you look at 30 million families, you have more than 2 telephones per family across the country. So once you have the telephone, you have access to everything now. Internet access comes right away with that. All we are waiting for is a broadband for everybody. And that mobile phone we see as the kind of future. Everything will be done with the mobile phone. Every other things will disappear. It will become the Aladdin's lamp. You want education, you want healthcare, you want business, you want communication. Everything will be there. Today we talk about social media as a kind of a cute little thing and look funny, interesting. And by time, it will be the media. That's what people will be communicating with each other. And at the same time, you bring every single healthcare issue at the personal level, at the family level, at the personal level, not at the clinic level, not at the hospital level. One of the things we are trying to do in Bangladesh to address the maternal death issue because of the MDG goal, we were lagging behind on that one. So we want to make sure we achieve that. So we're looking for the ultrasound, and I was complaining that ultrasound equipment is too bulky, so expensive, is hospital-oriented, it is clinic-oriented. I said, why don't you make it very simple? After all, it's all about chips. So I challenged some of the makers of those gadgets. And finally, they accepted it, created a small one. I said, well, this looks good, but why don't you make it a mobile phone? And it should be an application in the mobile phone. I download that application, and it becomes an ultrasound. And I attach the probe and take the images and send the images to the doctor, wherever that is. So this can become a tool of diagnostic services. So you can think about any diagnostic services, your pulse rate, your health, your temperature, your body information, everything can be converted, all ECGs or whatever you do in a big machine can be converted into mobile phone practices.
In Brazil, this kind of things happen a lot. The mobile changed the life of lots of people for business, for entrepreneur. But I want to understand from you why you think that the microcredit in Brazil didn't grow so fast as we think that could be, and the potential that Brazil have for the microcredit.
Yes, tremendous scope for microcredit. One of the basic reasons why in many countries it could not expand, because it doesn't have any legal home, because law doesn't recognize them. So it's done by the NGOs. NGOs do it as another service.
NGOs cannot borrow money in Brazil.
NGOs too, first of all, NGO cannot take deposits. If you can't take deposit, then you cannot lend money to the extent that you could. So NGOs are always asking for money to lend money.
So it will never happen in Brazil because I think the big banks, they don't have the fine-tuning of doing the microcredit. So, or you think that Brazil should change the law about microcredit to make it happen in Brazil?
Most often, I am kind of introduced in format like this as he's the banker to the poor. And I always ask the people, I said, if you call me the banker to the poor, it's fine with me. But what do you call the other bankers? You have to now say they are the banker to the rich. Because that's a distinction between me and them. So they operate in a bank which is a bank for the rich. And their law is not appropriate law for the bank for the poor. And we created a law for Grameen Bank, the bank that we created. It's a separate law. So that's why we can function. We lend out over $1.5 billion every year to 8.5 million borrowers, all women. And we have no shortage of money because we take deposits and lend money. We don't go to the government, we don't go to World Bank, we don't go to any international agency. It's all locally mobilized funds. There's plenty of money. And even the deposit of the borrower, the savings of the borrower becomes a huge, big savings. Today, these 8.5 million borrowers have nearly $1 billion in savings in their saving deposits. So money is not a question. It's a legal framework which makes all the trick. But no government, no parliament is making that law. Once you make that law, anybody can do that.
You should tell this to Dilma.
I do that.
Okay. Now I have some questions from Twitter that we've been connected all over the world. It's from @JohnFries. He's asking, how who write this? The letter is, how do you ensure that social media does not become narcissistic? How do you keep it a tool of the people? Make sense?
Yeah, let me try. When in a river, water flow slows down and stops, it gathers all kind of polluted situation among the water because it's a stuck water. But if rivers continues to flow, the faster it flows, cleaner the water is because it keeps moving. So social media is like that. If you keep on using it, all those mess that will coming around, narcissistics and all those things, but it will, the big flow of exchange among the people will bring it at the people level so that you can mobilize, you can exchange. This is a conversation, global conversation you would like to have on social issues, political issues, economic issues, and every single issues. Because this is your living room. That's where you talk to your friends, your acquaintances, and so on. I think this is a fantastic thing that happened. But technologically, it will change so fast. 10 years from today, when we'll be talking about social media, we'll not be talking about the one that we do today. There'll be completely different kind of social media and much more efficient, much more effective, and much wider than which we have today.
The Rio+40, no, in 20 years.
Absolutely.
Tell me, Anna.
But there are these effects.
Make.
There are these effects also. As we see in several elections, that the media is used to raise money and to spread ideas, which is not necessarily bad, but it means that, I mean, it could be used. It could be used not exactly for a totally good cause. It could be used also for other causes, not necessarily bad, but a lot of profit-taking goals. So, how you are the expert in media, how we would attack this?
Yeah,
we can't.
Yes. The things are changing. And I was thinking about what Mr. Yunus said, Anna, and I can see about the barrier for the microcredit in Brazil. I can see that it's the law. And for both of you, I think in different ways with energy business and microcredit business, but both touching hands with social business. What is the main obstacle to multiply the impact of what you guys have been doing in different areas, of course, but with common goals? I can say that is to improve people's life. I can see that politics is what else is to multiply. What is the different, the difficult?
In my case, it's the mindset. The moment we talk about social business, it's a non-dividend company, people kind of shrug their shoulder and say, well, who will be interested in doing business without making money? One has to be really crazy to do such a thing, doing business but not making money. Then I have to answer that, those who can ask that question to me, I answer by saying, you know what? People are crazier than that. People give away their money. I'm not give away, just charity. See? Some give thousands of dollars, some give millions of dollars, some even give billions of dollars. I said, they simply give away. I said, is it too crazy to invest that money and get the money back and not take any dividend out of that company anymore? I think this is much saner than giving away. So that's not the problem. Problem is what you have learned in your school, what you have learned in your everyday life, that business means business to make money. I said, that's what our mind has been totally captured by that. In a way, not only captured, money has become an addiction. You cannot stop making money because that's the only game in town. So I said, it will take a little bit of time to get you out of that addiction and ask the question, if money making is a means, can money making be an end? I said, to me, it's not an end. Money making is a means, I accept. But end should come commensurate with consistent with the purpose of my life. What am I here?
But you have all these ideas when you first borrow,
give loan.
Give your $27 when you did a few years ago. You did all have all of this in mind, or you know where you're going, or it was
I didn't know. I just reacted to the situation. I was not planning. I was not making a big kind of structure. Nothing. I simply saw how people suffer. So they were borrowing from the loan sharks. I said, why don't I lend the money? If I'm so upset by the way they're misusing them, why don't I give the money from my own pocket? So I started lending money from my own pocket. I didn't have any big ambition or anything. Then they got so excited, they got so grateful that they got this privilege. So I thought maybe I should do more, and I started doing more. And that's what became known as microcredit. Now it is spread all over the world, same way that we do it in Bangladesh. So that's how it reacted. All the social businesses came that way. Every time I see a problem, I create a business to solve the problem. And I kept on adding one company after another company. Each one is focused on a specific kind of problem solving. And then I say, okay, well, why don't we do this social business? Now many countries are coming forward to do social businesses. In Japan, in Europe, in Germany, in France, in UK. And now we are discussing it in Brazil. And President Dilma is very interested in the idea of social business. And we had a good talk about it. And it doesn't have to be with the government. It doesn't have to be with the big company. It can be just us, common people, can create social businesses. It doesn't have to be big. But once it is successful, its tiny little social business can become a huge global phenomenon because it solves problem in a business way.
Anna, about what is the biggest obstacle of multiply the impact of you've been doing also?
I would say that in many countries, and today, especially with all this so-called, I didn't say so-called because I think nobody knows for real what it is, crisis, is that the governments tend to forget or think that postponing could be the solution. Let's first elect as a priority the budget or whatever, and then in a few years we will retake this and do it. And it really doesn't work that way, because if you create a business, and Mr. Yunus can tell you this, you cannot, well, let's make an interval on this of 5 or 10 years and then take it from there. If it's good for the society, also, people have to understand that nothing comes totally for free. when I see these discussions of, oh, well, the state, it's still the welfare state. The state should take care of it much more and more. It must be the civil society and not the state to take care of it. Otherwise, we'll have this humor from the state. This time I can do it, that time I can't do it, and if the elections are very close by, then we have to behave in such a way that, well, it's not the very best for the people, but the very best for us to win the elections. So this is a difficulty.
Okay, so thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Mr. Yunus, just to finish as fast as what do you think that is the message that have to stay after the Rio+20? What is the legacy that we will leave here? Why you are in Rio? What do you think you should say for the last word to inspire people that are watching us by internet and here, and the meaning that you are in Rio in this week, especially week?
I think for me, the Rio 20 is an occasion for everybody to get together and inspire each other. And we go back with a lot of inspiration that, yes, we can make it. There is no reason in the world why the world should remain an endangered planet. And we, the people who live on this planet, will make 100% sure it becomes a safe planet. That we make decisions and we act accordingly. What does it mean to make it? How do we endanger this? And we make a promise that when we hand over this planet to our next generation, to our children, to our own sons and daughters, we make absolutely sure that we hand it over as a safer planet than we took it over from. And their promise would be they will hand it over to their next generation as a safer planet than they found it. So then we reverse the whole process. So this is about inspiration, about leadership, to generate the leadership. I think I see a tremendous amount of strength among the young people, new generation of young people. They are so many times more powerful than any generation of young people ever in history of mankind because of the technology that you talk about. That technology is so powerful that makes this young generation extra powerful. Each one of them can solve all the problems of the world, not just collectively. Each one has that power to believe in that power and make use of it. And that social media and all those media we're talking about will generate that kind of spirit and energy to do that. And we go out of this Rio to make sure when we come back 20 years later to Rio, world will be totally different. It will be a safer planet, and we'll move on to the world where there will be no poor person. Poverty will be seen only in the poverty museums, nowhere else. And there'll be no unemployed person in the world. Why should anybody be unemployed? It's a crazy idea. It's not the fault of the unemployed person that he's unemployed or she's unemployed. It is the system which caused it. So we throw away that system, which make people suffer. So in the meantime, we'll build a new system and come back and celebrate.
See you in 20 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Yunus. Thank you, Ana Maria.